The First World War ended, but ideological and political conflicts, as well as economic decline, were still catalysts that ignited the Second World War. So what did Hitler do to gain the support of the people? If you're new to our channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of world history. Thanks for watching. After World War I, Hitler returned to Munich. Without formal education or career prospects, he remained in the army. In July 1919, he was appointed Verbindungsmann, intelligence agent of an Aufklärungskommando, reconnaissance unit of the Reichswehr, assigned to influence other soldiers and to infiltrate the German Workers' Party, DAP. At a DP meeting on 12th of September 1919, party chairman Anton Drexler was impressed by Hitler's oratorical skills. He gave him a copy of his pamphlet, My Political Awakening, which contained anti-Semitic, nationalist, anti-capitalist, and anti-Marxist ideas. On the orders of his army superiors, Hitler applied to join the party, and within a week was accepted as party member, 555. The party began counting membership at 500 to give the impression they were a much larger party. Hitler made his earliest known written statement about the Jewish question in a 16th of September 1919 letter to Adolf Gemlich, now known as the Gemlich Letter. In the letter, Hitler argues that the aim of the government must unshakably be the removal of the Jews altogether. At the DAP, Hitler met Dietrich Eckart, one of the party's founders and a member of the occult Thule Society. Eckart became Hitler's mentor, exchanging ideas with him and introducing him to a wide range of Munich society. To increase its appeal, the DAP changed its name to the Nationalsozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei, National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP, now known as the Nazi Party. Hitler designed the party's banner of a swastika in a white circle on a red background. Hitler was discharged from the army on the 31st of March 1920 and began working full-time for the party. The party headquarters was in Munich, a center for anti-government German nationalists determined to eliminate Marxism and undermine the Weimar Republic. In February 1921, already highly effective at crowd manipulation, he spoke to a crowd of over 6,000. To publicize the meeting, 2 truckloads of party supporters drove around Munich waving swastika flags and distributing leaflets. Hitler soon gained notoriety for his rowdy polemic speeches against the Treaty of Versailles, rival politicians, and especially against Marxists and Jews. Worried about a communist uprising, major political parties united to quell the unrest, leading to the establishment of the Weimar Republic. One of the new government's initial tasks was to enforce the peace treaty set by the Allies. This treaty forced Germany to surrender over 10% of its land, reduce its military, and accept full blame for the war, while paying hefty reparations, which devastated its already fragile economy. Many nationalists and veterans viewed this as a disgrace, believing that victory was possible if not for the betrayal by politicians and protesters. For Hitler, these sentiments became an obsession. His prejudice and unfounded fears led him to scapegoat Jews. Their presence resonated within a society rife with anti-Semitic views. Although many Jews were well integrated into German life, numerous Germans still regarded them as outsiders. The success of Jewish individuals post-war sparked baseless accusations of disloyalty and profiteering. It is crucial to emphasize that these conspiracy theories emerged from anger and fear rather than reality. Despite this, Hitler capitalized on such beliefs. Joining a small nationalist party, his persuasive speaking skills propelled him to leadership and attracted larger audiences. By linking anti-Semitism with public dissatisfaction, the Nazis condemned both communism and capitalism as Jewish plots to undermine Germany. Initially, the Nazi Party lacked popularity. After a failed coup, they were banned, and Hitler was imprisoned for treason. While at Landsberg, Hitler dictated most of the first volume of Mein Kampf, lit My Struggle, originally titled 4.5 Years of Struggle Against Lee's Stupidity and Cowardice, at first to his chauffeur, Emil Maurice, and then to his deputy, Rudolf Hess. The book, dedicated to Thule Society member Dietrich Eckart, was an autobiography and exposition of his ideology. The book laid out Hitler's plans for transforming German society into one based on race. Throughout the book, Jews are equated with germs and presented as the international poisoners of society. According to Hitler's ideology, the only solution was their extermination. While Hitler did not describe exactly how this was to be accomplished, his inherent genocidal thrust is undeniable, according to Ian Kershaw. Shortly before Hitler was eligible for parole, the Bavarian government attempted to have him deported to Austria. The Austrian federal chancellor rejected the request on the specious grounds that his service in the German army made his Austrian citizenship void. In response, Hitler formally renounced his Austrian citizenship on the 7th of April 1925. At the time of Hitler's release from prison, politics in Germany had become less combative and the economy had improved, limiting Hitler's opportunities for political agitation. As a result of the failed beer hall putsch, the Nazi Party and its affiliated organizations were banned in Bavaria. In a meeting with the Prime Minister of Bavaria, Heinrich Held, on the 4th of January 1925, Hitler agreed to respect the state's authority and promised that he would seek political power only through the democratic process. The meeting paved the way for the ban on the Nazi Party to be lifted on the 16th of February. However, after an inflammatory speech he gave on the 27th of February, Hitler was barred from public speaking by the Bavarian authorities, a ban that remained in place until 1927. To advance his political ambitions in spite of the ban, Hitler appointed Gregor Strasser, Otto Strasser, and Joseph Goebbels to organize and enlarge the Nazi Party in northern Germany. Gregor Strasser steered a more independent political course, emphasizing the socialist elements of the party's program. In 1929, the Great Depression struck. American banks pulled their loans, causing the faltering German economy to collapse swiftly. Hitler seized this opportunity, offering easy targets for blame and promising to restore Germany's past glory. Mainstream parties struggled to address the crisis, while left-wing factions were divided by infighting. Consequently, many disillusioned citizens turned to the Nazis, boosting their parliamentary representation from under 3% to over 18% in 2 years. In 1932, Hitler campaigned for president, but lost to war hero General von Hindenburg. Nevertheless, receiving 36% of the vote showcased his support. The next year, advisors and business leaders persuaded Hindenburg to appoint Hitler as chancellor, intending to use his popularity for their purposes. Although the chancellor was merely the administrative head of parliament, Hitler gradually increased his power. His supporters formed paramilitary groups to confront protesters, and he stoked fears of a communist takeover, claiming he was the only solution for restoring order. In 1933, a young worker was convicted of arson against the parliament building. Hitler leveraged this incident to persuade the government to grant him emergency powers. Within months, press freedoms were eliminated, other political parties were dissolved, and anti-Jewish legislation was enacted. Many of Hitler's early radical supporters faced arrest and execution, alongside potential rivals. When President Hindenburg passed away in August 1934, it became evident that no new elections would occur. Remarkably, many of Hitler's initial actions did not require extensive repression. His speeches harnessed public fear and outrage to rally support for himself and the Nazi Party. Simultaneously, businessmen and intellectuals, eager to align with popular opinion, endorsed Hitler, convincing themselves that his extreme rhetoric was merely performative. Decades later, Hitler's ascent serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of democratic systems when confronted with furious crowds and a leader who manipulates their anger and fears.